Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting edition of Dreamtime with Danielle, Dragons and Ravens. Oh my. Let's just jump right into it. We're going to start with dragons, and this is why. All week I've been having dreams that have similar symbols in them. That's very cool. That's very new. So we're going to talk about that. In the first dream, I was in my yard, and overhead, I was like, wow, look, it's a dragon. And it was a dragon. Reminds me of Charizard from Pokemon. Not that I needed to tell you that. Colors like orange, red, gold. And it wasn't just one. I looked up and there was a swarm of dragons just flying overhead. Then in a second dream, I dreamt of a big black raven flying into my yard, and the sun was gleaming on its black feathers, and it was sparkling on the blue pool underneath the bird. And then in the third dream, I dreamt of that same black raven, and it flew overhead into my yard and then up into a neighboring tree, where it proceeded to dip its beak into someone else's nest and toss out whatever it found in there. Maybe it was a baby bird. Maybe it was an egg. I don't know. But we're going to discuss it. Starting with dragons. Quick. Tell me everything you know about dragons. Go. They hoard treasure. They sleep on gold. They breathe fire. Sometimes they eat virgins, ? Okay, all of those things are Western dragons. And I'm focusing on the Western dragon because that's who I saw overhead. But let's touch upon the Eastern dragon. The Eastern dragon is very different in presentation because the Eastern dragon has a very serpentine body and it has 4 legs, but it has no wings. The Western dragon is much more lizard-like, can be rotund, and is defined by its wings. The fact that it can fly overhead and destroy your village is a very important factor. So Western dragons have the potential to be seen as monsters or as villains, especially in medieval art. Go check it out. But the dream that I had, I was not being threatened by dragons. I was staring in awe, in wonder at these incredible dragons overhead. I mean, gosh, dragons hold so much symbolism. Wealth, power, flight, fire, creation energy, destruction energy. Dragons are practically like gods. Listen to that. Oh, hail the mighty dragon. I smell burning. I definitely smell something burning. Dragon? Well, there was no fire breathing in my dream. There was migration. There was a flight overhead. And the fact that it was flying overhead, each of the dreams has a creature flying. One mythological, one very real. So, dragons represent wealth, they represent power, they represent the ability to terrorize a nation. Ooh, and what has been going on? We all know what's been going on. Now, I'm coming to you on the week ending in June 12th. And June started off with an intensity that this country hasn't experienced yet. The irony of each event outdoing itself in 2020. So, June started off with intensity. We have protesters in the streets. There was rioting occurring. There was intense police presence. We experienced, not a lockdown, well it was. We experienced a curfew. So then I go ahead and I dream about all these dragons flying overhead. Dragons could be seen as a threat. I mean, the big and the powerful flying overhead while I just watch. That makes sense to me. But there was also a feel like migration, the way you watch birds fly overhead. These dragons were flying overhead without a formation. But migration is all about following the movement of people or animals from one region to another. That's it. So the coloring of these dragons were red, yellow, and orange. Not individually, they were each a blending of these colors. And these are the colors of fire, of gold, of carnality. It's a very physical color, red. It's a color of survival, the color of our blood. something that is being tested, and people are coming together in a way that we have never seen in our lifetimes, but other people have seen in their lifetimes. Maybe these dragons represent the wealthy and the powerful who are running away from responsibilities. Maybe they represent people with wealth and power taking on the other people running from their wealth, running from their responsibilities. But there's definitely movement, and I feel like this symbol of the dragon has tapped into the collective consciousness. We all know what dragons mean. We've all experienced dragons in some way, be it a movie or a cartoon. A movie. Dragons is cats, but not the musical. Now that we explored the dragon, we're gonna move on to the next buddy. Red! What am I drawing? Help! I accept. Now that we drew a little raven buddy, haha, little, what do we know about ravens? Well, guys, they are huge. Have you ever seen a raven in person? Yeah, they're really big. That feels accurate to their size. Now, ravens are commonly all black, but they can also, in fact, have some white feathers on them, like an Oreo. I discovered this when I went to, that's right, I discovered this. Ha! I found that out when I traveled to Australia in 2018. Black and white ravens everywhere. It was really nifty. But the common raven is exclusively all black. Black beak, black eyes, black limbs, black feathers. Ravens have a lot of negative connotations to them, but that doesn't make that true. It comes from a lot of misunderstandings about this bird. They have been seen on battlefields, for instance, swarms of them devouring the dead. So yeah, people are not going to think kindly of this bird. But did you know that this bird, the raven, is capable of speaking like a parrot? And I mean learning words in the way that a parrot learns words. They can imitate human speech. So this is all about being chatty, having messages. Raven is a symbol of many different gods and goddesses, such as the Celtic goddess, the Morrigan, Apollo, the sun god. Because did you know that ravens, although they are all black birds, are solar animals, reflecting the sun, which is literally what happened in my dream. Its feathers were gleaming with sunlight. Odin, the Norse god of wisdom, Odin, omnipotence. He had 2 ravens on each side. Hold on, I know their names. Hugin and Mugen. Wow, I hope I said that right. And they represented the ability to understand wisdom and intuit information. So he would send them out and they would come back and report to him and bring him information. So the raven is about messages. It's about mystery. It's also about seeing our darkness. Everyone has it. Everyone has it. I have it. You have it. Got cut off there before. Where was I? So the raven, symbol of mystery, chattiness, intuition. They are curious animals. They are menacing looking, for sure. If you're not expecting to see a raven and then you see one, you will feel startled. These guys are big. Their beaks are very sharp. In the dream, the raven dug its beak into a nest. So I've had 2 different dreams about the raven, and I think it's very exciting because I've been seeing a raven in my neighborhood, except in real life. Let me rephrase that. In waking life, nailed it. In waking life, I have been seeing a raven. It's not common for me to see them in my neighborhood, so it's extra special. I've been having raven sightings for the last 2 or 3 weeks, but specifically this week that just passed, these last 7 days, I've had raven sightings almost every day. That is unusual. In waking life, there is a raven that keeps trying to cross the territory that my yard sits in. And in waking life, there are songbirds that literally chase the raven away. which is something I have seen before and now something that I have seen multiple times this week. So I am so curious. This raven, it's speaking to me. What does it want to say? Well, number one, it's telling me to use my intuition. It's also telling me to reclaim my power and to explore the darker side of myself. We all have darker sides. Everyone has a light side and a dark side. And that doesn't mean an evil side, but it does mean a side that we're not entirely conscious of, or a side that we reject about ourselves. It's a thing. We all reject something about ourselves. And sometimes we won't even acknowledge it, so we will reject it in others instead. You ever notice that some people drive you crazy for no specific reason? You can't figure it out. I bet if you look closer, they exhibit behavior that you and I reject about ourselves. What's special about this? The raven being a black bird, but a solar animal, and in the dream, having the sun gleaming on its feathers is about turning the light of our awareness into those darker subconscious moments, into those darker subconscious behaviors. Explore those parts of ourselves. Because the moment we give it attention, it changes. The moment we look at it and see it, it relaxes. Okay, to sum up, the raven is knowing and curious. They are mysterious. They are solar animals, meaning they bring the power of the sun and light. They represent thought and intuition. And it's often said that a raven can't keep a secret. Isn't that cute? Now, there's a lot of mythology about the raven, such as how its feathers became black, how it learned to speak or croak. There's so much raven symbolism, I can't even cover all of it in one little dream vlog. Chapters could be written. But in my dream, one, there's the raven soaked in sunshine over my pool, which was gleaming and blue and sparkling. So that's really interesting to me, because water is emotion in dreams, and it was gleaming and sparkling and in a place of play. But in the second dream, it went into my neighbor's tree. It threw something from its nest, probably a baby bird or an egg. But in the second dream, the raven was menacing. In the first dream, the raven was beautiful and friendly and coming close to me. So what if I say one half of me is totally enamored of the raven, loves it, wants to draw it closer, and another half of me feels threatened, is afraid, worries that the raven is a bad omen? Because a lot of people still carry that belief. So this would be an example of the duality of the light and the dark, the shadow and the consciousness. Either way, the actions of the raven in my second dream, where it flung something out of a nest, it invaded someone else's space and it tossed something out of there. And a nest is a home or some type of security, a place for little ones to grow. Maybe the raven is saying, Danielle, you gotta toss some shit out of your home. I'm laughing because I know that I'm a hoarder. I'm laughing because I know that I collect a lot of stuff. I'm laughing because I have a lot of things that I know I do have to get rid of. But hey, you know what? I struggle to let things go. I find it easier to identify with my stones or my cards or my items than trusting that without them I'll be fine. Haha, that's a confession. That sounds threatening too. Well, all in all, when we zoom out and look at these two dreams, especially with all of June, it's only been 2 weeks, but all of June has seen a tidal wave of people coming together, rivers of protesters taking to the streets, ready and demanding change. It's incredible. It is truly something to behold. And a lot of people do feel threatened, and even our protesters are threatened and have been hideously abused and maligned. Oh, I'm thinking about Standing Rock from 2016. When I saw the news reports these last 2 weeks, but especially of the peaceful protesters that were gassed, bombed, sprayed with rubber bullets. It reminded me of Standing Rock in 2016, when the exact same thing happened to peaceful protesters trying to defend Native American territory from being invaded by a corporation. Now, it's not just one state, it's every state. And it's the whole world. Literally, the other countries are like, America, what are you doing? And so taking that, seeing how it reflects in the dream, dragons swarming overhead, ravens infesting a nest. These are the types of things that happen in dreams to represent what's happening in our outer world. Or something like that. Well, guys, thank you for joining me for another session of Dreamtime with Danielle. I hope that if you're interested, you'll send me your dreams and we'll explore your symbolism. And together, we shall break down the meaning and understand. We shall intuit the deeper meaning behind what shows up for us. So you guys have a wonderful day. Cheers to every single person who has gone out and been a part of these beautiful, beautiful protests. Stay safe, stay hydrated, keep your masks on. Participate in ways that work for you. Yeah, we're all out of our comfort zone now. And yeah, we are all being called to action, but we all have action within us in unique and special ways. It's time for us as the human race to just recognize that we all need caring for, not abuse. Abuse never helped nobody. I hope, for everyone's sake, that we find our way together. See you next time, guys. Dreamtime with Danielle. Yeah! Black Lives Matter. And thank you. Now, I mean this literally when I say